Hi YouTube, if you enjoy what you are listening and watching, go subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Ron Kamonohashi, episode 11, Ishiki will be sent to Aishi. None of the good detectives are free, so Ishiki has to work. While in Aishi, Amamiya asks Ishiki to check in on Kawasimi. When Kawasimi's assistant got arrested for murder, his crime rate arrest plummeted. Amamiya wants to know how an old colleague is doing. If Kawasimi is not doing a good job anymore, it means he will not be superintendent. Maybe Amamiya can. We've seen change to the train. Ron is tagging along in the hopes of a great case coming their way, which is not actually true, and he tells Ishiki the real reason later on this episode. Secretly, deep down, Ron is worried about Kawasimi though. Ishiki, who has been working with Ron for 10 episodes and knows Ron's life, asks if Ron has any friends and is surprised Ron has 0 friends that are not himself. Ishiki and Ron are friends. When they get off at the train station, Ron says he isn't here for Ishiki and has business to do alone. Ishiki is all alone. Kawasimi is currently out on patrol. Ishiki finds Kawasimi talking to an undercover detective. Kawasimi almost blew his cover. Kawasimi sees Ishiki watching him and they have a meal together. Kawasimi asks if Ishiki was sent here by Amamiya to see how much he is struggling at the job. Kawasimi and Amamiya have known each other for a while, so he tells Ishiki to report back he is in a slump. Kawasimi does admit he has changed. After eating a meal together, they walk around outside. Ishiki sees a sign warning about the Mad Chameleon. The Mad Chameleon will attack college students during the day and only steal their cell phones. They are called the Mad Chameleon because their looks change from every attack. The culprit is amazing at disguising themselves. Speaking of the Mad Chameleon, they strike. They steal a cell phone and Ishiki chases after them. Ishiki loses the Mad Chameleon once he knocks over a woman. Ishiki thinks they ran into a shop that they have closed off. Of course, this store on lockdown is a clothing store. It is possible one of the 5 men in this room is the culprit. Kawasimi has no idea who the culprit is. He doesn't even ask any questions. He just gives up. Ron calls with perfect timing. His business is done. Ron's real reason for tagging along with Ishiki was Ron went to a neurological research center in Aichi. He is trying to learn more about him killing the culprits. Over the phone, Ron learns Ishiki did find Kawasimi and someone has died. Ron, after learning the case details, tells Ishiki changing one's physical appearance is not possible. One cannot shapeshift. Ron is fascinated by this case and will help solve it. At the clothing store, Kawasimi says the culprit wearing the red hood was around 100 centimeters tall. That is 5 feet and 7 inches. That is how tall I am. Maybe I am in this anime and committed the crime. With the culprit being this tall, the 5 suspects are narrowed down to 3. Kawasimi does not know anything else. He has no idea what to do. Kawasimi says the 5 suspects can be let go. Their personal information is taken, so they can be contacted later if needed. But Kawasimi just let go the killer. Ron has arrived in handcuffs. He does act suspicious, and a non-detective trying to get into a locked-down area is odd. Kawasimi remembers Ron. Ron says for this episode 11 only, he is not Ron, but nearsighted Kamosimi. Ron is dressed like a knockoff version of Kawasimi. This is Ron's way of helping Kawasimi be a great detective again. Kawasimi says a few of the victims were on their way home after job interviews. Another was a part-time worker, and one was a mock exam worker. Ron points out all the victims would have been wearing suits when attacked. Ron says again, no one can shapeshift. This means the victims had to be lying about who attacked them on what the Mad Chameleon looks like. Ron says the previous victims, who were not killed like this last one was, might have had a guilty conscience and lied. Kawasimi realizes and asks Ron if this is an "it's me" scam. "It's me" scam means all the victims were involved in a money collector scam. All the victims of the Mad Chameleon pose as someone they are not and ask for money. They all have to look official, so they wear suits. The Mad Chameleon was attacking them and stealing their phones as proof, yet the victims lied about who the attacker looks like, because if they told the truth, they would be arrested for scamming money out of others. Unfortunately, the last victim died in this episode 11, meaning the Mad Chameleon will also be arrested, but for murder now. Ron says the Mad Chameleon has to be a coworker in the money scam. Ron says they were probably trouble in the group. Taking their cell phones erases all traces of contact with this scam. Kawasimi says Ron is amazing for figuring this out. Ron says Kawasimi would have figured it out if not in his slump. His eagle eye would have noticed. Ron says Kawasimi is the only one who can arrest the culprit. Ron scolds Kawasimi for not sleeping enough, not eating properly, and his slump is making his assistant feel betrayed. This all snaps Kawasimi out of his slump. Kawasimi scolds Ron for his necktie coming undone, leaving price tags on clothes, socks not matching, and his shoes not matching. And the glasses he is wearing are not nearsighted, but for farsighted. Eagle-Eye Detective Kawasimi is back. He is out of the slump. He knows who the culprit is. Kawasimi says the culprit did not push the woman down earlier. It all happened on the culprit's left side. They were actually checking their watch for the time. There's construction happening, but the path was closed. The culprit couldn't run away and hid in a store. The culprit messed up the time because his watch is broken. Only one suspect was wearing a broken watch. Not a surprise, the culprit's name and address on his license were all fake when they shared that information with the police to be let go. This is why letting suspects go is always a mistake. None of the 5 suspects had an extra cell phone on them, meaning he will return to the store. Ron knows where the phone is, and so does Kawasimi. The phone is being held by a mannequin. You would think the other 4 suspects would have noticed the Mad Chameleon changing clothes, or maybe not noticing someone getting rid of their red sweatshirt, but they would have noticed someone putting a cell phone on a mannequin. Yet they did not say who the Mad Chameleon was. People are stupid. The Mad Chameleon who comes back for the cell phone is surrounded by the police. Kawasimi, Ron, and the helpish of Ishiki have solved the case. Ron was not in the room, so there is no scene with Ron telling the culprit to kill themselves. Ron and Ishiki are on the train back home. Ishiki tells Ron the Mad Chameleon was arrested. Ron tells Ishiki he was here today because he was getting tested done to try and deactivate his killing culprit skill. And it might be possible to do. There are only 2 episodes left in Ron Kamonohashi. The last 2 episodes, Spitz is coming back. And we also will be seeing Blue. And with Blue and Spitz coming back, we will learn in episode 13 what is going on with Ron and how he got this skill, how he can maybe deactivate it, or if that's going to be a season 2 thing. Ron finally learns Moriarty and the House of M is behind everything. And it is nice to know that we will be leaving this season with not many questions left, and they all are going to be answered. If you enjoyed watching and listening to my video, go subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow. You can also share videos that I have made to others to let them know how awesome this YouTube channel is. Go check out other videos I have made, and thank you for watching.